by tonight. It is for your own safety. We'll start to see impacts starting late this evening. So by tomorrow morning, it may be too late. Population, pet-friendly, and special needs shelters are available to you. The county has opened 2 shelters in St. Petersburg, Gibbs High, which is pet-friendly, and Johns Hopkins Middle, which is also a special needs shelter. We're also seeing people start to heed evacuation orders and head to those shelters. As of 5 p.m. today, we had 163 people at the Gibbs High shelter and 78 at the Johns Hopkins shelter. Now, there's plenty of room at these shelters, so please go if you need to. For more information about open shelters, visit disaster.pinellas.gov. The city and our residents are taking our preparation efforts seriously, and we've been working to ensure that residents have access to resources leading up to this storm. We have teams working to clear debris, informing residents of mandatory evacuation orders, and coordinating rides to the shelters for residents. Early today, I and my team members went to a sandbag site to meet with residents and our hardworking city staff. The city has distributed nearly 92,000 sandbags this week. St. Pete Fire Rescue teams were deployed today to assist with special needs evacuations. So far, they've transported 38 people and 2 pets to safety. Additionally, the city has more than 10 street teams that are working throughout the city to touch base with our unhoused populations to ensure that they are able to get to a safe place before the storm. I want to talk about electric vehicles a bit and remind those with electric vehicles to think about your vehicles in your disaster preparation efforts. If you are leaving your EV when you evacuate, park out of flood-prone areas and at least 50 feet away from any structure or other vehicles, and do not leave your EV plugged into a charger. Water infiltration into the high voltage battery of an electric vehicle can lead to damage, heightening the risk of a battery fire. In closing, your safety and your family's safety is our highest priority. Once again, please finalize your preparation efforts this evening, and please stay safe. There is no reason to stay home if you need to evacuate. Please heed the mandatory evacuation orders. For updates during and after the storm, please monitor local media, the National Weather Service, disaster.pinellas.gov, Facebook, Instagram, and X. And now I'll pass it over to Yolanda for a Spanish translation.
Buenas noches. Ahora es el momento para que todos finalicen sus preparaciones. Si usted está en una zona de evacuación obligatoria, por favor, vaya a un lugar seguro esta noche. Esperamos saber los impactos a partir de esta noche, así que es posible que mañana será demasiado tarde para evacuar. Como recordatorio, refugios están abiertos. Aquí en St. Petersburg tenemos a Gibbs High School, que también acepta mascotas, y Johns Hopkins Middle School para personas con necesidades especiales. A esta hora tenemos 163 personas en Gibbs y 78 personas en Johns Hopkins. Si necesita más información, por favor llame al 727-464-4333. La ciudad está tomando en serio nuestros esfuerzos de preparación. Tenemos equipos limpiando los escombros, informando a los residentes de las órdenes de evacuación y coordinando la transportación a los refugios. Hasta ahora, la ciudad ha distribuido más de 93,000 sacos de arena. Quiero recordar a aquellos con vehículos eléctricos que tienen que tomar en cuenta planes para esos vehículos, especialmente en las zonas de inundación. Agua en la batería puede causar incendio. Otra vez, por favor, finalice sus preparaciones esta noche. No espere hasta mañana.
Thank you, Yolanda. Amber?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Hurricane Helene's track and forecasted impacts for the Tampa Bay area remain unchanged. You may note slight east to west wobbles of the hurricane track and the projected landfall with each of the track updates. I just want to remind you not to focus on these small back and forth shifts, as they do not typically greatly affect the impacts to our area. The official forecasted track from the National Hurricane Center remains our most reliable source for the storm's track and projected impacts. Storm surge remains that primary impact that we're watching for. As Mayor mentioned, waiting until tomorrow to be in your sheltering place may be too late, especially if you live in one of those low-lying neighborhoods that is more susceptible to the high tide flooding. We anticipate some of that street flooding to begin pretty early in the morning and want to ensure that you're in your safe place by then. The highest surge is expected to come after 4 p.m. as Helene passes us out in the Gulf. So we want to make sure that you're staying informed, you're watching the weather channels. So as the center of that storm passes the Bay Area, that's when those winds are going to shift and we're going to see that storm surge being driven into the Bay. So while we're going to see tidal effects leading up to that point, it's once we see the center of that storm, when it passes us, that's when we're going to see that extreme surge start to come in. We anticipate tropical storm force winds for about a 12-hour duration on Thursday, most likely around 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. according to our latest guidance from the National Hurricane Center. And rainfall amounts are predicted to be about 3 to 6 inches with locally higher amounts possible in the forecast. Finally, I just want to end on a word about staying informed. A forecast is just that, it's a forecast. They can change, as we've seen in past storms. While we're not expecting a big deviation with the track of this storm, anything can happen and we want to make sure that you're paying attention to it. So make sure you know how you're getting your information, stay up to date on what the storm's doing, follow the storm track when the National Hurricane Center releases those, and always have your plan on how you're going to react. So whether you're in an evacuation zone A that's been ordered to evacuate, or you're far inland and you may be high and dry, we always want to keep an eye on what is the progress of the storm. This is not a storm to be taken lightly. It's expected to be a Category 4 now at landfall with some pretty extreme surge values up and down our coast. So make sure you stay informed, follow its progress, and make the right decision to keep you and your family safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. I want to thank our St. Pete team and all of our residents for your vigilance in getting prepared for this storm. I also want to recognize and thank Senator Dal Rusan, who's joined us. Thank you, Senator. And if there are no questions, which I don't think there are, I will conclude. Stay safe, St. Pete. Thank you all.